Hi everyone, it's Gina K from Gina K Designs and your host of Stamp TV, and I'd like to welcome you to our release party presentation. Tonight I'm going to show you 5 new stamp sets, a new incentive set, some new dies, and the first 3 stencils in our new line of stencil products. You can also visit us tonight at stamptv.com for the party chat thread where the team is showing beautiful projects, and everything is now available in our store at ginakdesigns.com. The first set I want to share with you is a brand new set by Teresa Momber, and this is the 3rd set in her Brilliant Framescape series. The new frame Tropical Skies will help you create beautiful tropical and summer cards. The huge frame gets you started on the right track, and then you can mix and match the elements to create your perfect scene. Mix with Teresa's other scene building sets for more beautiful options, and Teresa will have lots of videos for you using this new set. Claire Brennan has knocked it out of the park with her brand new Lovely Lilies stamp set. You can build the lilies and leaves up to 5 steps and create beautiful dimension using ink pads to create shading, or use the line art images alone with color, like colored pencils, watercolor, or Copic markers. Claire has a chart available that we will post on the freebies page at Stamp TV, and that will show you how to use these images together to create your own beautiful, perfect bouquet. With beautiful greetings and gorgeous bold images, the Lovely Lilies stamp set will be an all-time favorite. I'm so excited to announce a brand new artist to the Gina K Designs family. Our talented Chris Dayton is now a Gina K Designs illustrator. Her first set is called Sentimental Calla Lily, and it's one that our customers have been asking for. This set will help you create beautiful cards for anniversaries, baptisms, confirmations, weddings, sympathy, adoptions, and more. With the beautiful hand-drawn images and a mixture of bold script and small standard mix-and-match greetings, this set will be a must-have for every card maker. Beth Saleka has added another adorable set to her zoo. Beth names all of her sets after members of her family. And we all know that Beth's daughter swims like a dolphin, so Beth added Karen Dolphin to her Gina K Designs collection. With adorable fish and sea mammals and cute quippy greetings, Karen Dolphin will be sure to make a splash this summer. Melanie Menschinger has created an amazing set this month. Introducing Pressed Flowers 2. Pressed Flowers 2 can be used alone to create bold, vibrant bouquets on any card project. But you can also mix this set with Melanie's A Year of Flowers 2 to produce 2-step stamping. Stamp Pressed Flowers 2 in vibrant ink colors, and then stamp A Year of Flowers 2 on top with Versamark and emboss in gold, silver, or black for an elegant stepped-up look. Whether you use this set by itself or mix it with A Year of Flowers 2, this set will help you create beautiful cards all year round. We also did a die set that coordinates with both the new Pressed Flowers 2 and A Year of Flowers 2. One die set works for both of these beautiful floral stamp sets. Now you can die cut these beautiful flowers to create additional dimension and style to your beautiful floral cards. And I want to show you something fun that we're doing with our dies going forward. We have teamed up with Stampin' Storage and have purchased their magnetic die sheets to be added to all of our large and our medium die sets. And we will also be carrying the magnetic sheet refill packs for those of you who love to use sturdy magnetic sheets to keep your dies in place. You can find the refill packs in the What's New category at Gina K Designs and also under the storage category. And I'll be doing a die storage video coming up so you can see how I use this method to store my dies. These magnetic sheets will also fit in the popular pocket-style storage system, and they will also fit in the Stampin' Storage die storage boxes. We have another new line of products that is debuting tonight at the Gina K Designs online store. Introducing the first 3 stencils in the new line of Gina K Designs stencil products. These beautiful stencils work great with inks, sprays, pastes, and of course the fabulous Deco Foil Transfer Gel. We have a floral design, one that looks like water droplets, and a beautiful foliage design, and I'll be using one of these in my project tonight. And finally, I want to show you our brand new incentive set called Happy Mail. This fun little set is perfect for decorating your envelopes and for many card making projects. This set is yours free with any $75 merchandise purchase at the GinaKDesigns.com online store. You don't have to put it in your cart, it will automatically ship with your qualifying order. Now that you've seen all of the fun products released tonight, it's time for me to show you a card project. And for that, I'm going to be using the new Dolphin stamp set. Let me show you the tools and products you need to make this project. First, you're going to need some ink, and I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm also using some of the Moonlit Fog, some Gina K Designs Ocean Mist, some Bubblegum Pink, and some of the lovely Lavender ink. Along with that, I've got some blue painter's tape, and if you don't have that, you can certainly use washi tape. I'm also going to be using this new stencil, and this is the one that looks like water droplets. I have some foam squares and some adhesive, and I also have a pair of scissors. I have some sponge daubers, and I'm going to be using 3 big sponge daubers and 1 small sponge dauber. I also have some dies, and the dies I have here are by Cheery Lynn Designs. I have the silver stackers, I have the purple stackers, those are both the circles, and then I have the inverted stackers in the circle style. I'm also going to be using some Copic markers. I have N1, which is neutral gray. I also have BG53, which is ice mint. I have N3, which is neutral gray number 3, and I have R20, which is blush. Then for stamps, I'm going to be using the Dolphin stamp set, and I'm going to use the dolphin image and this fun little dolphinately amazing greeting. I'm also going to use the little splash. And then for cardstock, I have some Gina K Designs Layering Weight White, some black Onyx, and a Turquoise Sea Card Base. I'm going to begin by putting this piece of white cardstock down on my Misti, and then I'm going to grab the Dolphin stamp and position it onto my piece of cardstock. Now I'm going to pick that dolphin up using the lid of the Misti, and then I'm going to just reposition my cardstock. My stamp's a little sticky because it's brand new, and I'm going to ink that up with some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Once that's inked up, I'm going to press down the lid real well, and that leaves me with a great impression. And now I'm just going to turn the cardstock, and I'm going to stamp it once again. I'm going to stamp 3 complete dolphins because I need 3 of them for my card project. And it's easy to just turn the piece of cardstock and stamp each time. So here's my final dolphin. I'm just inking that up again with some Memento ink and stamping the dolphin. And now I have all 3 dolphins ready to color. So my next step is going to be to pull off this dolphin stamp, and I just want to clean that ink off of my Misti. Grab a paper towel. And then I'm going to grab the greeting that I want to use for my design. So I've got a piece of paper loaded up, and for this greeting, I'm going to cut it out with the circle die. So I'm going to lay the circle die down just to make sure that when I have the greeting placed on my piece of cardstock that there's actually room to cut everything out. So I'm going to place the 2 stamps where I want them inside the circle, and then once those are in place, I can remove that die, and then I can pick up the stamps on the lid of my Misti. So now that I have those stamps picked up, I'm just going to reposition that piece of cardstock, and I'm going to ink up those stamps with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And then I'm going to stamp it once again by closing the lid and pressing down on the greeting and the design. So that's ready to go as well. My next step is to grab a piece of the Gina K Designs Layering Weight White cardstock, and I'm going to tape that using some blue painter's tape onto the back of the stencil. Now the stencil doesn't have a right side or a wrong side, so you can use either side. It doesn't make much of a difference in a stenciled like this, but when it comes to the flowers or the foliage, it might. So this way you know you can turn them in either orientation so that you can have flowers and foliage going all over your piece of cardstock. So now I've taped that stencil down, and I'm going to start with a big sponge dauber and some of the Ocean Mist ink. I'm going to ink up that sponge dauber using the ink just by rubbing the sponge over the surface of the ink pad. And then starting a little bit off of the stencil, I'm going to start a circular motion, bringing that color in on a diagonal in the bottom third part of that card. By starting a little bit off of the card, you eliminate that big blob or circular dot that you can get from the ink by placing that sponge dauber right on the cardstock. Now I'm going to add a second color. I've got some of the lovely lavender here, and I'm going to load that ink the same way just by rubbing my sponge dauber over the surface of the ink pad. And again, in a circular motion, I'm going to blend ink going across the second third of the card. Now you can do this in any orientation you want. You can do stripes going down, you can do stripes going straight across, or you can kind of do the diagonal like I'm doing. I like the diagonal because once I blend those colors together, it's going to be difficult to see any lines at all. Now I'm using the bubblegum pink, and again, starting off of the stencil and off of the piece of cardstock, I'm pulling in color from the top and the side down to meet that lovely lavender. So now it's time to blend the colors together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit more of the lovely lavender, and I'm going to darken that area up just a little bit, and then as I do, I'm going to go down over the Ocean Mist ink. And you'll see that where it's going over the Ocean Mist ink, that blue is becoming a little bit more purple. And the line between those two colors is starting to fade. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the bubblegum pink. I'm going to go over my lovely lavender a little bit and then move up over the bubblegum pink to kind of remove that line of demarcation between the two. And so now those colors look like they fade from one color into the next instead of three definite colors being placed onto the cardstock. Now I'm going to remove the pieces of blue painter's tape to reveal the design underneath. Now if you like this look, you can stop right here and continue on with the project. And I do like this look for certain things, but I think I want to soften up a little bit of the white because I want that background to be just a hair softer. So the way I'm going to achieve that is I'm going to just grab that Ocean Mist sponge dauber again. I'm not going to reload any ink on it first. I'm just going to see how it looks just by sponging all over that same area in a circular motion. And you can see that the white areas are becoming a much lighter shade of that turquoise, of that Ocean Mist color. And then I'm going to do the same thing using the lovely lavender. And I'm going back over that area where the two colors blend together to make sure I still have that soft blend. And this one might need a little bit more color. I'll have to see how it all plays out after it's all done. I'm going to add just a little bit more here. The lovely lavender is a very pale shade of lavender, so it does take a little bit more ink to get color on it, but it sure is a beautiful color. So now that that's done, I'm going to grab the bubblegum pink sponge dauber next, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to blend some of that bubblegum pink over that area where the white is, and then I'm going to work that down just a little bit over the lovely lavender. And now you can see the whole look is so much softer than it was before. You don't have that white background, but instead you have similar colors to the colors that the design are blended into the background. Now next I'm going to color the dolphins, and the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with a sponge dauber and a little bit of Moonlit fog ink. And I'm not going to go right onto the dolphins. I'm going to start it a little below the dolphin just to get some of that real strong color off. And then I'm going to do a circular motion all over the dolphin, and it just leaves a real nice shady look. And you could stop here if this is as much shading as you want, but I'm going to play with Copic markers a little bit and see if I can add a little bit more color into those dolphins. But I really do like this shade of ink for the dolphins. It's got just a hint of blue-green in it, which makes it really neat with that ocean mist ink. So I'm going to finish coloring over these dolphins and just make sure that color's vibrant enough. And now I'm going to start to color with the markers. So I'm going to start with the N3, which is the darker of the two grays. And I'm going to start just by coloring around the perimeter of the dolphin. I'm going to go around the perimeter of the tail the same way. And then I'm going to kind of fill in the little underbelly. And then go around the perimeter of the little fins on the side. Also around his head and his nose. And then also his dorsal fin. Once I finish coloring the entire perimeter of the dolphin in the N3 color, I'm going to grab the lighter gray, which is N1. I'm going to kind of drag that over that N3 a little bit and work that color out more toward the center of the dolphin. Now, I certainly am not a Copic marker expert, but I just play with my Copic markers and try to make them look good. So by just pulling that gray from the perimeter more toward the center using the lighter gray, it does give me a little bit of shading, and that's what I'm going for. But I really like the way that moonlit fog looks underneath there. It just gives it a little bit of, I don't know, roughness or something like that. Just a little patch of that bluish green gray coming through. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to grab the N3 marker and I'm going to color the entire perimeter of these other two dolphins and then bring that color out toward the center. And once that's done, I want to add a fun little whimsical touch to these dolphins. I'm going to grab that R20 marker and I'm just going to do a little circle on each of their cheeks just to make them have a little blush spot. And of course, real dolphins don't have that, but this is card making, so we can do whatever we want. So now that these dolphins are done, I'm going to color the little splash over the "You are dolphinately amazing" greeting. And I'm going to use the BG53 marker. Just going to add a little color in there. I'm not really looking for much shading here. I just kind of want a color that is similar to the Turquoise Sea Card Base. And this particular marker is a nice match for that. So I thought by adding that little splash in the greeting, that'll kind of pull it all together. So my next step is going to be to fussy cut these dolphins out, and they are very easy to cut because these are just long, smooth lines without tons and tons of intricate areas to go around. So I'm just going to cut all three of those out and they will be ready to apply to my card. And here's the final one. I figured you didn't need to see me cut out all three of those dolphins. You get the idea, and I'm sure most of you have done lots of fussy cutting in your day. So the next step is going to be to cut out the greeting. And I'm also going to cut out the other die at the same time. This saves me a little bit of time when I'm doing different pieces. If those dies can all fit on one piece of cardstock, I'll cut them at the same time. So I've got the purple Stackers Circles dies and the silver Stackers dies, both in the circles, and I've cut those out. So they're the plain circles, both the silver and the purple. Now I'm going to grab that inverted circles die, and I'm going to cut that out using a piece of black Onyx cardstock. And that's going to be in between those two white circles. It's going to create a really fun look. So I don't know if you can see this very clearly, but there is a little kind of pointed edge going around that. And now it's time to assemble my card. So the first step is to adhere this stenciled background onto a piece of black Onyx cardstock. And all of the measurements for all of these pieces will be under the screen at stamptv.com. And if you are watching me on YouTube, if you click on the description box, all of the measurements and supplies used will also be in that description area on YouTube. And you can see I didn't have that straight, so I pulled that piece off and I'm re-sticking it here, and that's why I love that dot style, the sticky dot glue or sticky dot tape runner. I just love those because they're so forgiving. So now I'm going to adhere this panel onto my card base, and again using that Thermoweb sticky dot runner. And now that is all adhered together and ready for the rest of my pieces. So now I'm going to adhere the greeting panels together. I'm going to place the greeting over the inverted circles die cut that I did. And again, I'm using the sticky dot runner for that. And I'm just going to line that up. It's pretty easy to line up. And then that panel is going to go on top of the white piece. And you can see that gives you that fun little beaded edge that's just so tasteful. It's just a little decorative, but it's not a full scallop or anything like that. It's just a tiny little touch. Kind of looks like I said, just a beaded edge going around there. And so this little greeting sandwich is going to go right into the middle of my card. So I'm going to position it to see how that looks, and then I'm going to grab some more of the sticky dot runner and I'm going to adhere that into the center of the card. And now my next step is going to be to grab those 3 dolphins and some of those foam squares. And you can use any kind of foam squares you want. I happen to have these on hand, and I'm going to use 2 per dolphin. And these are pretty forgiving too. If you stick it down and it's not perfect, you can lift it up quickly and move it. And then I'm going to put 2 on each of the other dolphins. And then before I actually adhere these down onto my card, I'm going to do my layout to make sure I like the way it looks. So I'm going to place 1 dolphin on this side here, and these dolphins are going to be jumping for joy out of that splash of water behind them. So I'm going to have them circle that greeting. And now that they're all in place, I'm going to remove the little liners and stick them down permanently. So once I have them where I want them, just put a little pressure onto those foam squares and they are adhered. I really like this layout. I think these dolphins are really cute, and the way Beth drew them makes them kind of look like they're jumping rather than swimming, so they're kind of cute jumping around this circular greeting. And so now that all 3 are adhered, that is my finished card project. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's release party presentation. Stop by GinaKDesigns.com to find all of these new stamps, new dies, and our brand new stencils. And make sure you stop by StampTV.com over the coming weeks to see fun videos featuring these new sets by our team. Thanks so much for watching, and happy stamping!